Sometimes the loudest battles you will ever fight are not with your fists, but with your words. There will be moments when someone tries to diminish you with sarcasm, challenge your worth with insults, or shake your confidence with doubt, and in those moments your heart will race, your chest will tighten, and your ego will beg you to react. But listen closely. Reacting is easy. Power lies in restraint. Life will test you in public and in private. It will test you in meetings, in relationships, in arguments, and in silence. People will poke at your patience just to see if they can control your emotions. And many will succeed because most people speak from anger instead of strength. But you are not most people. You are built differently. You are called to respond, not to explode. The strongest person in the room is not the one who shouts the loudest. It is the one who stays calm when chaos is invited, the one who chooses wisdom over impulse, silence over noise, and dignity over drama. Because when you master your response, you master the situation. Tonight, I'm not giving you comebacks born from ego. I'm giving you responses born from power, words that don't escalate a fight but end it, words that don't make you smaller but leave the other person speechless. These are the 7 smart responses that will silence anyone without you ever raising your voice. Number 1, I hear you. When you say, I hear you, you are doing something most people never learn to do. You are choosing control over chaos. You are not agreeing, you are not surrendering. You are simply acknowledging, and that single act of acknowledgement has the power to disarm anger faster than any argument ever could. Most people fight because they want to be seen and understood. When you give them that without giving up your peace, you take away their weapon, your calm becomes strength and your silence becomes authority. I hear you is the language of emotional intelligence. It tells the other person, I am present, but I am not provoked. You are no longer pulled into their storm. You are standing on solid ground while they are drowning in emotion. This response slows the moment down. It shifts the energy from confrontation to awareness, and in that shift you gain the upper hand, not through domination, but through discipline. Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply listens and lets the noise burn itself out. When someone is attacking you with words, they are often battling something inside themselves. Rage is rarely about you. It is about their wounds, their fears, their disappointments. By saying, I hear you, you separate yourself from their internal war. You refuse to become a target for their unresolved pain, and something remarkable happens. Their intensity often fades. When a fire finds no fuel, it eventually dies. Your calm becomes the mirror that forces them to see themselves. This response also protects your character. It keeps you from saying something you can't take back. It keeps you from lowering yourself to a level that was never meant for you. I hear you is not weakness. It is restraint sharpened into strength. It shows maturity, not submission. It shows that you are secure enough not to fight every battle invited to you. In a world addicted to reaction, the person who can pause, listen, and remain steady will always hold the deepest power. Number 2, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. When you say this, you are reclaiming your power without raising your voice. You are not attacking, you are not defending, you are simply standing firm in your own truth. This response draws a clean line between what someone thinks and who you are. It quietly tells the other person, your words do not define me, and that calm confidence unsettles anyone who expected you to react with anger or insecurity. This sentence strips arguments of their fuel. Many people argue not to understand, but to dominate. They want you to bend, to explain yourself, to prove your worth. But when you calmly acknowledge their right to an opinion without accepting it as truth, you close the door on further manipulation. You refuse to be dragged into a debate that was never about facts. It was about control, and when control is denied, conflict loses its power. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it, is the language of self-respect. It shows that your identity is not fragile, that you don't need external validation to stand tall. You are no longer seeking approval. You are rooted in who you are. And when someone realizes they cannot shake you with words, their attacks begin to weaken, because insecurity only thrives when it senses weakness to exploit. Most importantly, this response protects your peace. It reminds you that not every statement deserves your energy, not every criticism deserves your attention. You are not required to carry every opinion that comes your way. Some thoughts belong to the speaker alone. By letting them keep ownership of their opinion, you free yourself from emotional burden, and in that freedom you rise above the noise, quietly, confidently, and unshaken. Number 3, I'm not available for disrespect. When you say this, you are making a powerful declaration without aggression. You are not fighting back, you are standing your ground. This is the voice of someone who knows their worth and refuses to negotiate it. You are not asking for respect, you are expecting it, and that expectation changes the entire dynamic of the room. It signals that you will not participate in conversations that require you to shrink, beg, or tolerate humiliation. This response is calm but unshakable. It does not insult, it does not threaten. It simply creates a boundary that cannot be crossed without consequences. Most people push limits because they believe there aren't any. The moment you clearly state your boundary, you expose their intentions. Those who meant no harm will correct themselves. Those who sought control will reveal who they truly are. Either way, you win, because clarity always brings truth to the surface. I'm not available for disrespect also protects your inner world. It keeps bitterness from taking root in your heart. It stops you from absorbing negativity that was never meant to shape your future. Disrespect only has power when you allow it to settle inside you. The moment you refuse it, you take back emotional ownership of your life. You teach others how to treat you not through anger, but through consistency and self-respect. This sentence is not spoken from ego, it is spoken from self-worth. It tells the world that your peace is not cheap, your values are not flexible, and your dignity is not for sale. You are no longer reacting from wounded pride, you are responding from grounded strength. And in a world where many tolerate what they secretly hate, the one who calmly says, "I'm not available for disrespect," becomes impossible to ignore and impossible to break. Number 4, let's stick to the facts. When you say this, you instantly pull the conversation out of chaos and into clarity. You refuse to swim in emotional noise, assumptions, or personal attacks. You anchor the moment in truth. This response is powerful because it exposes exaggeration, manipulation, and drama without you ever needing to accuse anyone directly. You are not denying their feelings, you are simply separating feelings from reality. And that separation is where real power begins. Emotions can lie, tone can deceive, accusations can inflate, but facts stand alone, unshaken. When you call for facts, you force the other person to drop the performance and face reality. Many conflicts survive only because they feed on confusion and distortion. The moment you ask for facts, the fog begins to clear. Those who are speaking from insecurity grow quiet. Those who are exaggerating start retreating, because truth does not need volume to win, it only needs space. Let's stick to the facts. It also protects your integrity. It keeps you from being dragged into personal attacks that stain your character. It keeps the conversation mature when someone else is trying to make it messy. You are no longer reacting to provocation. You are guiding the direction of the exchange. You become the calm center in a storm of emotions, and people instinctively respect the one who can remain grounded when others are losing control. This response is a quiet declaration of leadership. Leaders don't argue emotions, they clarify facts. They don't fuel drama, they dissolve it. When you choose facts over feelings, you choose progress over pride. You show that you are not interested in winning an argument. You are interested in revealing the truth. And in a world where noise often masks reality, the person who calmly says, "Let's stick to the facts," becomes the one whose voice carries the most weight. Number 5, I refuse to argue. When you say this, you are choosing peace over proving a point. You are not running away, you are rising above. This statement is not born from weakness, it is born from wisdom. Arguments feed on ego, pride, and the desperate need to be right. By refusing to participate, you quietly say, "My peace is more valuable than your chaos." And that choice instantly shifts the balance of power back into your hand. Most conflicts survive because two people agree to keep the fire burning. One throws a spark, the other adds fuel. I refuse to argue removes the fuel. It collapses the fight before it can grow teeth. The other person may still be angry, still loud, still emotional, but they are now shouting into a void, and nothing humbles rage faster than the realization that it no longer has an audience. This response protects your future. Arguments often leave scars on relationships, on reputations, on the heart. In the heat of the moment, people say things they cannot take back. I refuse to argue saves you from becoming someone you are not just to win a moment you will later regret. It keeps your character intact when the temptation to strike back is strongest. Strength is not shown in how hard you can hit. It is shown in how steady you can stand. Refusing to argue is an act of self-respect. It tells the world that your energy is not cheap, your time is not disposable, and your peace is not negotiable. You are no longer a prisoner of emotional battles that lead nowhere. You are in control, not of the other person, but of yourself. And the person who masters that kind of control becomes unstoppable, because nothing outside of them can drag them down unless they allow it. Number 6, silence. Silence is not empty, it is heavy with meaning. When you choose silence, you remove yourself from the noise without surrendering your power. You are not ignoring, you are observing, you are not weak, you are unbothered. Silence unsettles people because it gives them nothing to fight against. No reaction, no defense, no explanation, just calm presence. And in that calm, you gain control of the moment, because the one who speaks least in emotional warfare often sees the most. Silence forces the other person to confront themselves. When there is no argument to push against, no words to twist, no emotion to feed on, their energy collapses inward. They hear their own tone. They feel their own aggression echo back at them. Many people only recognize their behavior when no one is responding to absorb it. Your silence becomes a mirror, and what most people fear more than being opposed is being exposed. Silence also protects your spirit. It keeps you from spilling your truth in a moment that does not deserve it. It keeps you from offering your vulnerability to someone who only wants to use it as ammunition. Every word carries energy, and not everyone deserves access to yours. By staying silent, you conserve your strength. You choose when and where your voice will matter most. Silence becomes the shield that guards your dignity when emotions are at their highest. This kind of silence is not passive, it is intentional. It is the calm of someone who has nothing to prove. It says without saying anything, "You do not control my emotions." It shows restraint, confidence, and deep self-mastery. In a world addicted to reaction, the person who can remain silent in the face of provocation stands in rare authority. And often the strongest message you will ever send is the one you never speak aloud. Number 7, I wish you well. When you say this, you are doing something few people truly understand. You are responding not from ego, anger, or desire to prove a point. You are responding from a place of inner strength and unconditional dignity. Most people react to negativity with more negativity, feeding a cycle of conflict that never ends. But when you step outside that cycle and offer genuine goodwill, you transform the encounter entirely. This response is quiet, yet it carries a force that cannot be measured in decibels or volume. It says, I am bigger than this moment. I am in control of my emotions, and I refuse to be dragged down by yours. It is both a shield and a statement, a way to maintain your integrity while still acknowledging the other person's existence. I wish you well also disarms hostility in ways few other phrases can. When someone comes at you with anger, insults, or provocation, they are often seeking a reaction. They want you to engage in the chaos they are creating, but when you respond with goodwill, you remove their ability to provoke. Their words lose power because they no longer elicit the reaction they desire. This simple phrase demonstrates emotional mastery. It communicates that your peace is non-negotiable, that you will not be used as a mirror for someone else's insecurities. It is a gentle yet absolute assertion of self-control. There is also a subtle but profound psychological effect on the person receiving it. When someone expects anger, criticism, or confrontation in response to their negativity, offering them kindness shocks the system. It disrupts their pattern. It forces them to pause and reflect. They are confronted not with retaliation, but with grace, and grace has a power that rage cannot match. While anger may win battles in the moment, grace wins respect over time. Saying, I wish you well, is a way to rise above, to take the moral and emotional high ground without ever needing to declare it aloud. This phrase protects your energy in the long run. Most conflicts, disputes, and toxic exchanges drain more than they produce. They leave scars on your emotions, your self-esteem, and your peace. By choosing to respond with goodwill, you reclaim your energy before it is wasted. You refuse to invest in battles that offer nothing but exhaustion. This response is about preservation of your spirit, your focus, your emotional equilibrium. It is about recognizing that some people are not worth the weight of your reaction, and that your life is too valuable to be spent proving points that never needed proving. I wish you well also reveals a deep understanding of human nature. Many people lash out because they are hurting, insecure, or unfulfilled. Their negativity is a reflection of their own struggles, not your worth. When you respond with goodwill, you do not condone their behavior, but you acknowledge their humanity. You recognize that beneath the anger, envy, or bitterness is a person shaped by their own circumstances. This response demonstrates empathy without submission. It allows you to hold space for another person's flaws while remaining completely untouchable yourself. There is an undeniable elegance to this approach. In a world addicted to conflict, drama, and loud assertions of dominance, choosing kindness is revolutionary. Most people will be shocked when met with calm and positivity in the face of aggression. Your response becomes a statement of character, a demonstration of strength that does not rely on volume or intimidation. It is the quiet power that makes people stop and take notice. By wishing someone well, you assert that your life is not defined by their actions, that your happiness is not contingent on their behavior, and that your peace is inviolable. This response also transforms your mindset. When you release the desire for retaliation or to teach someone a lesson, you lighten your emotional load. Resentment, anger, and bitterness fade when replaced with genuine goodwill. you reclaim your mental space. You free yourself from the emotional prison that conflict often creates. Saying, "I wish you well," is as much an act of self-love as it is an act of grace toward others. It is a declaration that you will not allow external negativity to dictate your inner state, and that your focus will remain on building, creating, and nurturing your own life, rather than tearing down or punishing others. Furthermore, "I wish you well" has an almost spiritual quality. It represents forgiveness without the need for confrontation or explanation. You are letting go of the expectation that the other person must change or apologize. You are not seeking justice in the way the world defines it. You are seeking peace, and that peace radiates outward. By choosing goodwill, you elevate the tone of every interaction, and in doing so, you influence the environment around you. People who are often surrounded by conflict begin to sense that there is another way, a higher, calmer, and more powerful path. This response subtly teaches others about the power of maturity. People often mistake kindness for weakness, but in reality, it takes immense strength to maintain composure and goodwill when provoked. "I wish you well" communicates that you are untouchable, not because you dominate or retaliate, but because you choose a higher standard. You show that personal strength is measured not by how loudly you respond, but by how wisely, calmly, and gracefully you maintain your dignity in the face of challenge. It is a lesson in emotional intelligence delivered through a single simple phrase. Finally, saying, "I wish you well," allows you to close chapters without bitterness. It provides a full stop to toxic exchanges, giving both parties the freedom to move forward. You are not shackled to the conflict, the insult, or the negativity. You are free to continue building your life and your dreams. In this freedom, you demonstrate a power few ever truly understand: the power to rise above, the power to respond with dignity instead of anger, the power to turn potential conflict into a moment of grace. In a world that thrives on reaction, this response does not just silence, it transforms, uplifts, and commands respect. In life, the greatest victories are often silent, measured not by volume or confrontation, but by how we carry ourselves when chaos surrounds us. Strength is revealed in restraint, wisdom in calm, and power in how we respond, not react. Every moment we are challenged, every time we face criticism, disrespect, or negativity, we are offered a choice: to lower ourselves to the level of conflict or to rise above it with dignity. True mastery of the self begins when we recognize that our energy, our peace, and our focus are far too valuable to be spent proving points or engaging in battles that lead nowhere. Every interaction, whether filled with tension or disagreement, is an opportunity to demonstrate emotional intelligence and inner strength. When we listen without judgment, acknowledge without surrender, and set boundaries without anger, we communicate more than words ever could. Calmness dissolves aggression. Facts dissolve manipulation. Silence commands attention in a way words often fail to achieve. Responding with composure shows the world that our character cannot be shaken, that our worth is not determined by others, and that our influence is felt most profoundly in the way we choose to maintain our integrity. There is a transformative power in choosing goodwill over retaliation. By responding with kindness and wishing others well even when they oppose or provoke us, we release the weight of negativity from our hearts. We reclaim our energy, protect our mental space, and rise above the petty turbulence that so often entangles those around us. This is not weakness. This is not passivity. This is courage, maturity, and strength manifested through the simplest yet most profound choices. It is the power to turn conflict into clarity, chaos into calm, and hostility into respect. Ultimately, The way we respond shapes our reality far more than the actions of others. Choosing restraint over impulse, wisdom over reaction, and grace over anger elevates us to a level where nothing outside of us can disrupt our peace. Life will always test patience, challenge dignity, and provoke emotion, but it is in those tests that our true character is revealed. The ability to remain calm, to protect our energy, and to respond with clarity and compassion becomes the mark of those who are truly powerful. In a world that thrives on drama and reaction, the person who masters their response stands above the rest. Silent yet unshakable, calm yet commanding, kind yet unstoppable. Carry these truths with you. Protect your peace, speak when necessary, remain silent when powerful, and always respond with dignity. Let every challenge be an opportunity to rise, every confrontation a chance to demonstrate grace, and every moment of provocation a test of your strength. Live in such a way that your presence alone commands respect, your words carry weight, and your actions inspire others to seek the same mastery of self. Thank you, and may your journey be filled with wisdom, strength, and unwavering peace. God bless you.